what do you think is more important then to smaller MSPs starting off? Is it focusing on the costs and saving where you can, or is it maximizing the time and making sure you've got the time available?
So there always comes this point where an MSP realizes they're not charging enough money. Okay. And then they feel guilty charging enough. They're charging enough because they don't feel like they're doing enough and they're not delivering a good enough service. The problem is you go too many years or months like that, you end up falling into this pit where you haven't got enough cash to do anything with. You're barely making ends meet. I've been there, and you're unable to invest in other areas by taking someone new on or doing more marketing. And you don't realize you'll perpetually be in that situation. So, in answer to your question, what should they be focusing on? The first thing is get your billing right and be proud and confident. Okay, look at the market, look at what the top boys are charging, and then the bottom feeders are charging. Build up your confidence, but start in the middle. Do not, just because you're new, do not start at the bottom end of what is being provided. Okay, there's so many tools and so many spreadsheets that I and anyone else could help people with, that shows like how quickly you run out of cash if you're still charging £20 a seat, £25 a seat, which MSPs are, like £30 a seat, £40 a seat, 50. It's not enough. It is not enough if you want to give your customers the service they need. So going back to it, what you were saying, do they need to focus on customer service? If you're not charging the right money, how on earth are you going to be able to spend the time with the customers to give them that service? So the very first thing is to be confident, charge the right money. And this is, really pivotal to the white label discussion. If you're in a position where you can't afford to outsource part of your help desk or take on out of hours or overflow support services, hands down you're not charging enough. It's just that simple. If you can't afford to do that, then you're not charging enough, because we are at least a third cheaper than delivering it yourself. So if you can't afford it, you're just not charging enough money. Or you haven't got the right customer demographic. There might be a few other reasons, but ultimately, 9 times out of 10 people just aren't charging enough. And they're charging rates that we were charging 15 years ago.
It's a bit of a catch-22, isn't it? Because when you charge that lower rate to try and undercut competitors, as a lot of people do when they're starting out, to get those first people on board, you end up having to take on more work than you would have
Yeah.
to reach the same margins, and then by that time you've still got no time left to
Yes.
scale, and you've hit your ceiling.
You are literally making enough money to exchange your time for money. You will never grow a business, and you'll never be part of a business that is growing. And unless a business is growing, nobody's going to get the pay rises, nobody's going to have the opportunities. There's not going to be any more exciting things coming in. Like, cash is the lifeblood of any business, and you should never feel guilty about needing to charge more to be part of that sort of business.
Yeah, if you charge less, you need more customers to get to the same level, don't you?
Take it from someone who's done this for a long, long time. The only difference between the person that is able to command a higher price from a customer versus get the lower price is confidence and conviction. Okay, if people believe you enough, they will pay. And if they don't, well, they will leave. But you have to only persuade them for those split seconds that your service is better for this money and that you're going to give them less hassle. And if you focus on that, you will say no to a lot more prospects, but the ones you get will grow with you and be the right MSPs. Sorry, the right customers, the right end users. It's no different. I say MSPs, it's no different to white label. We want the MSPs that want to grow with us, that are charging the right money. And if they're not, we'll have the discussion with them. But there is no point coming to us saying £30 a ticket is too much, because that must mean you're only charging at best £60 an hour. £60 an hour is a wholesale rate, if anything. I don't know anything that costs £60 an hour, or less than $100 an hour if you're in the States. If that is where you're at, stop what you're doing immediately, because you won't get very far and you'll forever be chasing your tail. If you want to chase your tail, I suppose that's fine. But
Yeah,
yeah.
certainly when I speak to MSPs, when they reach out to us, what we see most often is the MSPs that have got one or two people, maybe three people in their team. They are started within the last 6 months, and they have very quickly taken on, 5 to 10 smaller businesses,
Mm,
and all of a sudden they're at their limit of what they can provide to those customers
yes.
in terms of the reactive support. And to get to the next level, what they need is their time back to be able to
Yeah.
focus on that, improve the service with their existing customers, and then spend the time focusing on finding the right clients to take them to
Yeah.
the next step. And I think that's why they reach out to us and they are interested in white label, is
Mm,
because what we can do at white label is give some of that time back by taking the reactive work out of their support desk, by taking the calls, by taking the tickets, and they can focus on the other tasks.
I think you hit the nail on the head. The magic of white label is taking away the reactivity, which actually um, it has like a negative impact on any business, any IT company. A help desk is still required, and some great work happens on it, but it disrupts the flow of whatever you're doing in your life, okay, and whatever you're doing in your IT company. And when you're at the right size, I think it should be mandated in the same way as when you're at the right size, you have an outsourced FD or an outsourced accounting department, you have some form of HR, you're going to have some sort of training or coaching or whatever else. You need to have a backup for your help desk. If you're going to be offering a premium service to your clients, why on earth, for £700 a month, why would you not have a backup help desk there 24 hours a day that at the very least can take your calls? And it might not even be perfect. It might be terrible because you never spent any time with them. You never decided to give them any of your SOPs or help them. You just said, "Oh, I just want them there to take a call." But at least they were there to take a call for your customer. Like it's an insurance policy like no other, and it's the best paying insurance policy in my opinion that any MSP starting to today should have. It's that assistance at the end where if you're not there to take that call, answer that email, at least have somebody who's able to talk through an end user to some basic level problem, and then keep hounding you or your on call or your engineers until you're awake or until you're off the phones. That customer expectation management, going back to the beginning, is the only thing that's going to matter with the advent of AI.
It's peace of mind, as you said. It's knowing that you've got room to grow and that you can take on more work without the detriment to your existing help desk and your existing support engineers, knowing that you've got that peace of mind that someone else can handle that side of
Yes.
the business.